What if your search results weren't showing you the truth, but only what someone wanted you to see? Every day, billions of people type their thoughts, fears, and curiosities into a single rectangular box, a blank field that feels infinite. It listens without judgment, responds instantly, and feels like a mirror to the world's knowledge. But what if that mirror is curved? What if what you see isn't reflection, but projection? We call it the open web. But the web we see is anything but open. It's a curated garden, meticulously engineered to look wild, an illusion of chaos masking the architecture of control. What we read, what we click, what we believe, all filtered, ranked, and arranged by an invisible machine that knows exactly what will keep us engaged. That machine doesn't just answer questions. It decides which questions are worth asking. When Google first began, it carried a mission that felt noble, to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. It was idealism at scale. For a while, it worked. The internet felt like discovery, endless pages, strange corners, raw ideas. Search wasn't just about finding, it was about exploring. But accessibility slowly turned into optimization. Optimization turned into monetization. And monetization turned into manipulation. The shift was subtle, almost invisible. Ads began to blend with results. Results began to favor sponsors. Relevance became code for profitability. And somewhere in that transformation, the algorithm that once served knowledge began to serve power. Today, the algorithm doesn't just find results. It defines reality. Every time you hit search, trillions of data points ignite. The machine measures your location, your device, your history, your tone, your timing. It calculates what you're likely to click, not what you need to see, but what will keep you scrolling. Each query becomes a competition, millions of websites fighting for a few square inches of your attention. The winners aren't always the most accurate, they're the most optimized. That's the hidden economy of the digital age, the attention market. In that market, truth is negotiable. Emotion is profitable. Outrage is viral. Behind every page of results lies a silent auction. Companies, governments, and interest groups bid for visibility. The algorithm doesn't just weigh authority or credibility. It measures engagement, the raw currency of human reaction. Anger, fear, curiosity, all become data points, feeding a system that rewards intensity over integrity. The higher a page's ability to trigger you, the higher it climbs. And those who can't pay or provoke, vanish into digital silence. This is why your search results often feel personal. They are. They're not results. They're predictions of what version of truth will keep you online. You think you're seeing the world. You're seeing your profile reflected back at you. In this invisible hierarchy, even the definition of truth becomes fluid. What's real depends on who's searching. The same question typed in Lagos, London, or Los Angeles can yield entirely different worlds, filtered through language models, regional biases, and political sensitivities. What feels like freedom of information is, in reality, an information funnel, narrowing, shaping, and directing thought at scale. Behind it all are engineers and behavioral economists who fine-tune the levers of attention. Their job isn't to mislead, it's to retain. Every second you spend on a search results page, every click you make, every moment of hesitation, feeds a system that learns how to hold you tighter next time. It's not personal. It's mathematical. And yet, its impact is deeply human. Because search doesn't just inform you. It forms you. In 2016, psychologists studying search bias made a discovery that should have shaken the world. By simply altering the order of search results, without changing any facts, they could shift the opinions of undecided voters by up to 20%. No fake news. No lies. Just the order of links. That's not just influence. That's quiet mind control. Now imagine that power applied not just to politics, but to everything: finance, health, history, identity. A single tweak to visibility can redefine what entire populations believe to be true. Try it. Search for economic crisis, or climate change, or vaccine risks. What appears first, and what doesn't, tells you who's winning the invisible war of visibility. Some call it optimization. Others call it censorship. Governments fund content to appear at the top of results. Corporations hire digital mercenaries to drown out criticism. Keywords become battlegrounds. Whoever owns them owns the narrative. Meanwhile, the average user scrolls through results believing it's all organic, unaware that entire industries exist to engineer those rankings. They're called SEO farms, digital factories where armies of writers, bots, and AI generators create content designed not to inform, but to manipulate the machine. The goal isn't truth. The goal is visibility. Their clients? Pharmaceutical giants protecting patents. Lobbyists pushing policies. Political movements hiding under think tank names. Media conglomerates framing global stories to fit shareholder interests. Every click you make feeds their system, training it to prioritize the profitable over the important. And as this economy of influence expands, so does its reach. Search engines can now predict societal mood swings and monetize them. During elections, they adjust related results to reduce controversy. During pandemics, they suppress conflicting data for safety. During protests, they re-rank information to prevent misinformation. It sounds noble until you realize that safety and silence can look identical. Who decides what's misinformation? Who decides what's safe? The algorithm doesn't know truth. It only knows metrics. So the answer becomes whatever performs best. And in that subtle recalibration, democracy bends. Even academic research, once the last refuge of intellectual independence, now lives under algorithmic shadow. What gets cited, what trends, what's discovered, all filtered by visibility. If a study doesn't appear on the first page, it might as well not exist. The currency of truth is now exposure. By 2023, the game was fully industrialized. Insiders leaked that search engines internally flag sensitive terms. Entire topics, from financial leaks to geopolitical reports, quietly downranked. Not deleted, just buried. The user never notices. They simply never find them. That's the genius of invisibility. Absence feels like irrelevance. You don't notice what's missing. You only see what's offered. And as our digital literacy declines, the illusion strengthens. Most people never go beyond the first 5 results. Fewer than 1% ever reach the second page. The rest is the forgotten web, the space where inconvenient truths go to disappear. We live in a civilization where access to information has never been easier, and access to truth has never been harder. Search engines were meant to be maps. They've become mirrors. They reflect not the world as it is, but the world as someone wants it to appear. And that reflection shapes everything: markets, moods, elections, even morality. When entire populations see the same curated truth, dissent starts to look like delusion. That's how power sustains itself, invisibly. The invisible economy of search doesn't rely on force. It relies on frictionless design. It doesn't silence through censorship, it buries through abundance. It floods you with so much noise that truth becomes indistinguishable from distraction. And all it asks in return is trust. Trust the results. Trust the rankings. Trust the headlines written by algorithms trained on engagement, not enlightenment. But awareness is resistance. Every time you question what you see, every time you scroll past the first page, every time you wonder why something is trending, you create friction in a system built for obedience. Because the greatest illusion of all is not that search engines lie. It's that they tell the truth selectively. In the quiet war for information, every query is a battlefield. Every click is a choice. And every unseen result is a casualty. You're not browsing knowledge. You're navigating narratives, crafted, tested, and optimized for control. The web wasn't built to hide. People made it that way. Behind every search bar is a mirror. And behind every mirror is a motive. So next time you ask the internet a question, pause. Ask yourself who's really answering. Because in this digital age, what your search results don't want you to know might just be everything that matters. The truth is still out there. You just have to scroll far enough to find it.